So we have maladaptive behaviors, we have adaptive behaviors in the way that we grow up, and especially from our childhood. So I could maybe guess, but you can equally share that some of the things you grew up in and the environment, I don't know if you had siblings, I don't know what your parents were like, to what degree you got attention, you were probably a great student, or maybe you weren't and you've compensated. Whatever it is, you've become a force. But that force, what I feel, is adaptive, but maladaptive, right?
100.
Right?
Keep going.
Yeah.
All of it.
And so why I'm happy to share this with is, I work again, as I said, with multiple billionaires and the best of the best in sports and entertainment, blessed to get people shout out at concerts, and it's amazing, and I feel very fortunate. But what I hear is in you is no matter what you've created and the audience that you have who look up to you and you're inspiring, you're limiting yourself because it's built on the quintessential sand foundation.
Amen. Tell me something I don't know.
Yeah.
How do I change it?
Okay, well, we can do some of it here. So
oh my God,
first of all,
so uncomfortable. I'm literally schwitzing. I'm schwitzing right now. Okay, let's go. I'm 100% committed. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to answer it, even if it makes me wildly uncomfortable.
Okay, beautiful. Well, I really acknowledge you for that. That means a lot. And thank you for trusting me in this, because again, we haven't met. So the thing to recognize is that there's a huge cost to you emotionally and particularly physiologically, and then eventually in your realm, financially and materially and relation level, when you're coming from a place that isn't truly authentic to your soul, spirit, consciousness, right? So this is ego-based control, right? So the ego from a place of fear, so wanting to be the best, wanting to have the sense of perfectionism. These are qualities that I could see that you've adapted, which they work, right? Like think about just physiologically, right? I studied exercise physiology and biology at school, so I understand the difference between, say, anaerobic or aerobic systems in the body, right? And you would have experienced it, and you're smart, so you probably know some of it too. But if we sprint, okay, you've got a lot of force, but for a short duration, and there's going to be a lot of, lactic acid, and there's a cost to that performance. So your current way of functioning to me is costly. Now, does it get results? For sure. I've got lots of people I've worked with who are complete assholes. They're really controlling, really dominant. They're very dismissive. They're not the kind of people you'd want to have around at Thanksgiving, but they have successful businesses, but at massive expense. So what the access for someone like you who generally cares, who wants to be open, is to see the expense of the way that you currently function. It's not a bad system, it's just not an efficient system. And it's a limited system. One of my favorite distinctions that I realize is with your methodology, you become the best version of your limited self.
Damn, I'm so tired of being the best version of my limited self.
Yeah, and that's what I see a lot of. So it's like, I talk about these different dimensions. It's not about improving the space that you're in. It's about busting down walls so that you open up more space to extra possibility. As an analogy, if you were metaphorically like a 600 square foot studio apartment, you would make it beautiful. Just because of your forcefulness, your eye for detail, you're a mature, exquisite woman, you have elegance. I can see all of these qualities. So you could buy a piece that was maybe used by a couple of bums, and it had carpet, mold in the drywall, and a washing machine that doesn't even work, and all the things. And Jasmine would come in, it would be impeccable by the time you're done with it. Like, PK wood floors from Paris, the walls would be stripped, it would be lead-free paint, RH furniture, be like the wall appliances, whatever. It would be beautiful, but it'd still be 600 square feet. So as an analogy, that's what people are doing. So when people are stuck, to go back to your original question, as entrepreneurs, they're perfecting a limited space.
I feel flayed open right now.
You feel what?
I feel flayed open.
Okay.
I feel like you didn't come with a machete. You came with a scalpel, and I'm knowing I'm bleeding out in front of you. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got to get it together, Peter.
No, this is beautiful because this is accessing a part of you that many people maybe don't see. And I really appreciate the vulnerability.
Dang.
It's really beautiful.
This feels so good, and it feels so awkward. It feels very awkward.
Yeah. But it's a safe space. It's a safe space.
So screw the rest of the questions, brother. Screw the rest of the questions.
Yeah.
How do I move from force to power? That is all I want.
Yeah, no, I get it. But sit with that for a minute, because what you just said.
I can't feel it. I don't want to feel it.
You can, because in your voice it broke a little bit, right? So there's not an intonation of anyone that I work with that I don't notice. So the beauty in that is that you broke a little bit just in your voice, right? And so that is the knocking down of a drywall in the 600 square foot apartment, which is starting to crumble, which is beautiful. And I really acknowledge you for that, because again, we don't know each other from a hole in the window. So the fact that you're entrusting me with this it means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it will touch your listeners incredibly. So
okay, and hold on, we're just going to make space because my production assistant is bringing me tissue. No. There will be no tears, honey. There will be no tears.
We should have.
Man. Okay.
I should have forewarned you.
I know.
Even
It's like
the
Peter
guys.
Crone, come with a box of tissue. Okay, no,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you're doing great. So the thing to recognize, first of all, it's beautiful, is that there's nothing wrong with the way you have lived your life, but it comes at great expense. And as I said, it's the limited version of you. It's the best version of you, but it's the limited version,
Okay.
right? And so we want to recognize, okay, what is it that's really going on beneath the surface? Like, what is Jasmine really trying to accomplish? Because it looks like it's exogenous. It looks like it's a business. I don't know anything about your business, but it looks like you're trying to do something out in the world. What I would assert is actually all you're really up to, you know, you have a beautiful 5-year-old. If you were to walk into the kitchen and she was snooping around and she sees you and you're like, what are you up to? Right? There's something going on beneath the surface.
Yes.
So what I see is it's not so much, and this will hopefully resonate with your audience too, what you're trying to accomplish outside in the world, but rather what are you trying to compensate for inside? So what was it that you decided at a young age, or what comes to mind as I've spoken and the filet is happening, courtesy of the language, but what is it that came to mind? If you had any recollection from your childhood, where did this girl, where was it incumbent upon her to be perfect? Where did she feel that she had to get everything right? Where did she feel maybe she fell short and then she's like, I'm never going to do that again? Does any of those kind of resonate?
So I'm the eldest of 5 children from an immigrant family.
Okay.
And I just have always fallen into like, you will be responsible.
Okay.
And you will take care of
There you go.
people.
Yeah.
And and you will, whatever is put in front of you, you will do it.
Yeah.
You will do it.
Yeah. Now just sit with that, right? Because at one level, that's your badge of honor and it's really beautiful. And without knowing you, I can only imagine the myriad of things that you've done behind the scenes, you know, out of sight, even from your parents, and the way that you took care of your siblings is really beautiful. And it speaks volumes about the kind of person you are. And I just want to acknowledge that first of all. But what I also hear is that where's Jasmine's life, right? Where's your life? Because now it's incumbent upon you that you have to, it's in the realm of what I call these insidious killers. There's certain words we use, like I have to, I need to, I must. These are words that people use every day, not realizing they're creating resistance in their body. So in that world where you're young, immigrant family, you're charged with this huge responsibility that should not be a child's, regardless of how old you were. But that now means that you have abandoned yourself because you now have the duty, which it's, as I said, it's mandatory. Right? There's no choice anymore. And when we lose choice, we lose freedom. So you've done it for so long, decades at this point. So it's become, like I said, it's your pride, it's your badge of honor, which is beautiful because you obviously care and you probably did things for your siblings that hopefully they're still acknowledging you for in the way that you maybe even saved their life. I don't know. But it's now become your greatest obstacle because you're still being informed by what you have to do, what you should do, what you must do, what you need to. And in that realm, there's no freedom of choice. Does that make sense?
Yep, 100%.
And it's also, if you really can tap into it, and you're a woman, so hopefully you can, what is it like if you just tap into your body thinking about decades of having to do a certain thing that wasn't your choice, the mandatory energy, the superimposition of pressure and responsibility that wasn't yours to have, what does that feel like in your body?
An anvil.
Yeah, heavy, right? Mm-hmm. And typically the word is exhausting, right? So your system, and you probably take impeccable care of yourself, but if I were to look at all of your blood works and all of your stuff, maybe not now, but not far away, 5-10 years, regardless of how well you take care of yourself, we would see the results of that in your physiology, right? Adrenals and whatever else, stomach, all of those things, right? So we don't have to go there, but your physiology has to, you know, it keeps score. You know, there's a book about that, right? But it's like the energetics of what you're doing at a psychological and emotional level have to be stored in the body, no matter what we do to offset it. And that's okay, but I'm excited that we're having this conversation because now I can hopefully introduce you to my main product, which is freedom, right? So if Jasmine can break free, then your physiology can do what it does naturally, which is constantly rejuvenate itself without any impediment to, you know, health and vitality, right? So
if I go back and I do a quick check-in, you had said to sit and be with it. And so while you're talking, I just kept on telling myself like to be with it, to feel everything that you're saying. And I feel it deeply. And there hasn't been a single thing that I have disagreed with. Okay. It's just, it was like you just saw my inner side and you turned it inside out and you read it. Yeah. So you read my charts and you see it exactly for what it is. But my default is to do.
Yeah.
My default is action. And so if I took time to sit through, like you had said, is to sit through our thoughts, feelings, and I immediately go to action. Okay, fine. I immediately want to do something to change from force into power.
Yes.
And so I'm highly coachable. So what I want Peter to do is tell me what to do. And I'm
No,
afraid that you're going to tell me there's not much we can do. We have to be. And I'm like, good God.
Yeah, good God, I can't do that.
Yeah.
For
I
4
can't
decades.
Do it yet. I can't do it yet.
I have 4 decades, all I've known is doing. Yeah, and it's a beautiful attribute that you've developed. And look, without knowing the ins and outs of your life, professionally or personally, I have no doubt that you've accomplished, shit tons, and it's beautiful. But it is in the realm of perspective, not action, right? So meaning, I'm not going to just say like, some sort of spiritual guru, like, okay, just be, and just your being is enough. Like, okay, there's a certain degree of philosophical application to that, but you're a woman of action. So I am going to give you the opportunity to act, but it's from a different place, right? So when you live in the world of you have to, you must, you should, what does that feel like?
Heavy. It feels like I'm dragging something. I actually explained to my husband and business partner that I turned to him and I said, I am tired of pulling.
Yes.
I want to be pulled. I feel like I'm ready to be pulled. I feel like there's the different version of me who's calling to me. I feel it.
Yeah.
So we have this conversation. I had this conversation with my husband earlier this week and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Like it's literally like, just let go, like be open to being pulled.
Yeah.
And I've just always been so much of a control freak that I pull and I'm tired of pulling, Peter.
It's exhausting. Like I said, no, and I see it. And it's really beautiful that you can be here with me in this energy and for your listeners, because I promise you, especially, I'm going to guess you skew predominantly female. And they're, probably mothers too, but they also want to build a business and they're badasses and it's beautiful. But what I see with women like yourself is that you're doing such a disservice to the beautiful feminine that you are, which is more in the nurturance, which is more in the creative and the ethereal. And it doesn't mean you have to walk around and be woo-woo and, Palo Santo your house every day, but, you can still be a badass, but from a place of really nurturing you, right?
Okay.
Love includes you. And so the dragging, the heavy, the things that you describe is because you're still playing the role of that little girl who thinks it's incumbent upon her to take care of everything, right? That's really the main prison that you're living in. If I were to categorize it in some of the terminology I use, it's all up to Jasmine. Does that hit? Like, does that resonate? So what is it like to live in a world where the way it occurs to you, because it's your reality, and we'll discuss that in a minute, the way it occurs to you is it's all, and all is everything, right? It's taking care of your siblings, it's now a husband, another daughter, business, podcast, it's all up to you. What's it like to look at now, a little bit removed from your own life and go, holy shit, I live like everything is up to you?
It's sad.
Yeah.
Because I know deep down it's not.
Yeah.
And I think it does a disservice to the people and the team that I have.
Of course.
And so I think that I sell myself a story, I don't know, to push me into greater action and to do more.
Yeah.
And I don't think it serves anybody.
What does it do in the realm of allowing people to contribute to you?
It's funny. Before you came, I was having a conversation with our video crew and we were talking about love languages.
Yeah.
And she had said something in passing that had said something along the lines, it's your love language is correlative to the thing that you didn't have growing up. And so my love language is acts of service. And most of the time I believe that, or she had said, the reason why that's probably your highest love language is because you didn't get help or you didn't know how to ask for help.
Yeah. So it's what you desperately crave.
And so I don't know how to ask for help because I don't know what help I need.
Yeah.
And so I'm very verbal. And if I ask you something, it's very specific, Peter. And so if I just say, help me, and somebody says how, I'd be like, I don't know.
Right.
And so then there's two of us who are lost. And I'm like, that's just not the world in which I dwell.
No, of course. And that's all, everything you're saying is all going to be past reference, right? So you don't know how to communicate from a different place. So even that is more evidence to sustain the ego that's confined, right? Because there might come a time where tomorrow or after this conversation, you do know what to ask. And even if you don't know what to ask, it's okay because they could give you a hug or say, I love you.
And I don't know.
Yeah, and it's okay.
I don't know.
Do you see? And so there doesn't have to be an immediate, impetuous result or action that is associated with the fact that, you know what, I'm feeling right now. Oh, honey, I get that. That's okay. You see, for you to give yourself a respite to just be with an emotion for a minute, as opposed to think that it's something to resolve, an action that has to be taken or something that you have to do. right? So there's just very forceful, very masculine energy, right? Again, none of this is bad. We have all of the qualities. I have a lot of feminine. I make my own skin moisturizers and things.
You
but
do
I'm
have
also
great skin.
No, thank you. But I think for you, and I see this a lot with these very successful, driven women, you know, the masculine has just come online too much. And particularly being Aries, and now that I get a little semblance of what your childhood was like, that it's all incumbent upon you to take care of your entire family, your siblings at least, you know, you start to see, oh, wow, the conditioning is such that there's just no, what you're about to do, room for you to breathe. And see that right there, it's so beautiful, right? Because it's so subtle. But if you had, and I don't know your medical history, if you had any kind of dis-ease in your system right now, your body's starting to heal right in front of me, right? That seems like magic, but it's really beautiful because when you get out of the state of dis-ease, the absence of ease, the carrying the anvil, that's a state of dis-ease, right? There's the absence of peace, which means you have to be in sympathetic mode, fight or flight, which means that you're dumping cortisol, norepinephrine, adrenaline into your system. There's no repair, there's no digestion. But in that moment where you let go of something, that's the letting go. It's not letting go of the millionth project that you're trying to take on. It's the letting go of energetically thinking that it's all incumbent upon you to do everything. You're literally letting go of the ultimate addiction, which is to our identity.